The cold rain drummed on the aluminum porch as the polished state senator looked down at the 22-year-old in the faded campaign hoodie. "Kid, go home. You're wasting everyone's time. This district doesn't need another dreamer with a clipboard." The door slammed. She had no idea the kid she had just humiliated would one day own the building she stood in. His name was Marcus Reed. Grew up in Milford, Ohio, where the tire plant shut its gates when he was 14. His father never recovered. Marcus watched the man sit at the kitchen table for years, smelling of yesterday's coffee and defeat. That smell never left him. So at 19, he started knocking doors for a long-shot state Senate candidate who talked about towns like his. The senator won. Marcus kept showing up. By 25, he was a field director, sleeping on a futon in an Akron row house, earning $31,000 a year. He built voter lists at 2:14 a.m. under the buzz of fluorescent lights while his friends cashed checks. When his candidate lost by 287 votes, Marcus folded the concession speech into his wallet and carried it like a scar. He married late. Lauren was a quiet accountant who understood silence. Their daughter, Sophie, arrived the same month he won his first city council seat by 93 votes. He kept Sophie's first hospital bracelet in the same drawer as that folded speech. The years stacked like bricks. State representative at 34. County executive at 41, where he quietly fixed a collapsed bridge on Route 41 that the previous administration had ignored for 18 months. The construction crew still talks about the day the man in the mud-caked boots knew every bolt specification by heart. Then came the mayoral race. His opponent, a sleek real estate developer in Brioni suits and Italian loafers that never touched puddles, sneered during the loan debate. Marcus is a nice guy who still thinks government is about fixing potholes. This city needs vision, not volunteers. The moderator laughed. The donor boxes laughed louder. Marcus said nothing. He simply rebuilt the flooded West Side water treatment plant 6 weeks ahead of schedule and $184,000 under budget. The ribbon cutting happened on a Tuesday morning in front of the same donors who had laughed. The developer stood in the back row, arms folded, watching clean water pour from a new main. That was the first reversal. The second came slower. Marcus rode that record into the governor's mansion at 49. The same developer, now a state party chairman, spent millions trying to stop him. He failed. On Inauguration Day, the new governor stood at the podium in a wool overcoat that still carried the faint smell of diesel from the old plant. He looked straight at the man in the front row wearing the $18,000 Patek and said the words the developer had once used against him, only now they were his own. This state doesn't need another dreamer with a clipboard. The developer's face went white. Private apology came first. The man showed up at the governor's residence at 10:47 p.m. carrying a bottle of 25-year-old bourbon he couldn't afford anymore. He set it on the table between them and said, voice cracking, "I was protecting my own comfort. I am sorry, Marcus. I was wrong about you from the very first porch." The public apology followed 6 weeks later on the steps of the State House. Live on every channel, the developer reading from a single sheet of paper while cameras rolled. He never wore those Italian shoes in public again. Marcus served 2 terms that brought 4 new manufacturing plants back to dying counties and 2,700 jobs with them. Sophie, now in college, started leaving him voicemails again. Lauren began sleeping through the night. On the last morning in the governor's office, he opened the top drawer, took out the faded hospital bracelet and the yellowed concession speech, and slipped both into the inside pocket of a plain navy coat. He walked out without looking back. These days, Marcus and Lauren live on a quiet farm road outside Milford. He coaches Sophie's old softball team on Saturdays. The developer sends Christmas cards now. They're simple, short, and never mention politics. The boy who once stood dripping on that porch still keeps one symbolic object on his desk. A single metal clipboard, dented, rain-stained, the same one he carried the night he was told he had no value. It reminds him that every level of power asks for a piece of who you are. Some pieces you give willingly, others you fight to keep. The difference between the two decides whether you still recognize the man in the mirror at the end of the climb. No one is ever truly free inside the machine, but once in a while, remember why they started turning its gears in the first place.